Hey folks, this episode is sponsored by City Traders Imperium. Now, what you might not know is CTI has the best funded account conditions up to $2 million, which is the most in the industry. Now, go check out the video I recorded with them to learn more about their incredible package where Trading Nut listeners get an exclusive deal. It includes access to their high-performance trader mastermind and funding program. What are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below or above and go check out that video. All right, folks, here we are on Trading Nut. We've got Richard Nasr here on the show. We've just done a fantastic podcast. Go and check it out. This guy's had a rocky start, ended up working for a broker and a hedge fund, managing over six figures for the hedge fund. Now he trades his own money. And you can hear that full story over there on Trading Nut, link below the video. Go and check it out. Today, you're going to get to see him walk through his strategy. So we touched on it in the show. I'm looking forward to seeing how it works and seeing what you do on the price chart.
I'm going to walk you through a trade I took last week on GBP CHF. And as usual, I'll try to make it as slow, simple, and educational as possible. So we can see that we always start on the weekly and daily time frames, as mentioned in the podcast, to know where we are in the market, right? If you are around resistance, support, are we stuck inside the range, overall bullish or overall bearish? And we can see that from a weekly perspective, we can draw this trend line, and this trend line acts as a non-horizontal resistance, obviously, and it's also for overall direction. And I always try to make an offset. For example, here we go, we can make an offset here and to form like a channel. So this one is acting as a non-horizontal support. And as usual, our trend lines are not laser lines, just like support and resistance. They are not laser lines, they are zones, right? So we always look for buy and sell setups around it. We don't sell immediately because it's not a laser line. And the same thing for trend lines. They are not laser lines. We have to treat them as zones, right? So we look for sell setups around these trend lines. And one mistake traders make is that they enter immediately sell here, right? And price can still go up to test this upper trend line. So always treat your trend lines as zones. And for the trend line to be broken, it has to be broken with many big bullish candles. Then we can say that the resistance is broken and now it's turned into support. Anyway, long story short for now, from weekly time frame, we know that we are overall bearish, right? Why? Price is making lower lows and lower highs. Clearly, we are in a bearish trend and we were in an impulse corrective, right? Impulse, and we are now in a corrective phase. So we are now overall bullish from a medium-term perspective, but from a long-term perspective, we are overall bearish. And since we are in a corrective phase, as price approaches this area, what we will be looking for? Sell setups. And we also have one more confluence here, which is a very strong supply area, right? So this area would be a very, very strong rejection area because it's the intersection of this trend line resistance zone, right? And this supply area. So as price get here, we'll be looking for sell setups. Meanwhile, if we zoom into daily time frame, here we go, we zoom into daily time frame, we can see that we previously had a horizontal support and resistance. So here we go, we had this resistance, and of course it's not a laser line. Always treat it as a zone. How to treat it as a zone? You can draw multiple lines, for example the upper bound and the lower bound, or you can simply, to make the chart cleaner, you can simply use the rectangle option to draw it like a zone. So this one is a zone, and previously we were looking for sell around here, right? Because it was a supply. Price rejected it once, twice. So starting from here, we had a resistance. So we could look for sell and sell. And as you obviously see, price broke it upward. So now our resistance is turned into a potential support. And that's what I'm going to walk you through now, how we entered a buy around here. But before we zoom into lower time frames to look for buy setups, just let me guide you through the daily time frame. We can see that this one is trading inside this range. So as we all know, we want to know where we stand in the market. We want to know from a higher time frame if you are stuck inside a range. We'll be looking for sell and buy, right? And are we overall bullish? Then we'll be looking for buy setups when the corrective movement is about to end to catch the next impulse. And if the market is overall bearish, exactly the opposite, we'll be looking for sell setups, right? That's what we just did from weekly time frame. If you remember, the price from weekly time frame is overall bearish. So what we'll be looking for sell setups is around the upper resistance. We'll not sell here. We'll be waiting for it to approach the key rejection area to look for long-term trend following sell setup. But if we zoom into daily time frame, we can see that we had previously a resistance broken upward with many big bullish candles. Then here we can know that the resistance is broken, and the resistance is a zone and not laser line. Why? Because as mentioned in the podcast, this is a zone because the hedge funds would put their sell limit orders around here. So for example, if we zoom in, we can see that whoever sold here could or had suffered with this drawdown or even kicked them out before going down. So always wait for extra confirmation, zoom into lower time frames, and try to find reversal patterns around here, and always enter when the momentum is shifted from bullish to bearish. Now we'll take an example, but this time it's a little bit different. It's price broke it upward, and now it's retesting it. So now we are, this zone is acting as a potential resistance turned into support. So that's when we zoom into lower time frame. And here we go. Let me make this one appear on lower time frames as well. Here we go, and H4, and here we go, and H4.
Hey guys, quick message from my sponsor Sage Capital. Now they provide education software and tools needed to increase anyone's ability to trade more successfully. Perfect for people who are either still learning, too busy, or just want to use professional grade strategies to build passive income. They've achieved high returns with relatively low risk and are available for auto copying today. Go to sagecapital.co.uk or click the link above and start auto trading today.
Right, and I usually like to make it in a brighter color. I only use the gray one for my trigger swing. So I use the green and blue for my non-horizontal or horizontal support and resistance. So from H4 time frame, we had this nice break upward with a big momentum candle. Then we know that our resistance is no more a resistance and could act as a potential support. That's why we were looking for a buy setup on the retest. Moreover, we can draw from H4 time frame an ascending channel. Here we go, by connecting this swing and this swing, right? And I will give you a couple of tricks for trend lines now. But before we do that, let me give you, here we go. So we've had this nice channel by drawing these ones. So it's for overall direction. And as price approaches, price broke the resistance, it was approaching the previous resistance and the support. So we're looking for buy setups, right? And we also have one more confluence, which adds more confluence to our buy setup, which is the rejection of this trend line. So this one was a trend following buy setup after breaking the resistance that became support. So that's when I zoomed into lower time frames here to look for buy setups on the retest. And you can see it even better from M30 time frame. Here we go. That's the trade I previously took last week. Price were overall bearish, as you clearly see. So low lows, lower highs. So we are from a short-term perspective, right? From an H4 time frame. Here we go. We had an impulse, corrective impulse, and we were in a corrective phase, right? So, and you don't want to buy a bearish market, a corrective phase. We always wait for the corrective phase to come to an end, right? And as mentioned, we can know that from when we have a divergence. We'll see it on M30 time frame. And we want to buy when the corrective phase is almost over to catch the next impulse movement, right? So we want to buy the impulse movements. Here we go. And on M30 time frame, that's why I found my trigger. We were in a corrective movement, just like you saw it from H4, but you don't want to You don't want to buy a bearish market. We want the buyers to prove to us they are taking over. If we zoom in, we can see that the buyers weren't able to break above the previous high. Made lower high, right? Made lower high again. And here we go, let me zoom in, made a lower high, right? It failed to break this high, then made a lower high, and here we go. Here price broke above the previous high. But this one by itself is not enough. You always integrate it with another charting tool or another confluence. For example, here we go, here we have a trend line. Right, for our trend line, for our trigger trend lines, it has to connect at least 3 swings. So 1, 2, and 3. Then and only then we can say that our trend line is now valid, and we can enter a buy on its break upward. But we don't enter buy immediately on the trend line break, right? Because 66% of the time when a trend line is broken downward, we would have a fake out. 66% of the time, yes. So we always wait for extra confirmation, which would be a break below the previous swing low in this case. For example, here we go. Let me give you a quick example. One low, another one, right? So we don't enter immediately as price can still go up. We will be waiting for price to break below the previous low. That's our confirmation and trigger. So here we go. We have our valid trend line, right? And sorry about that. Here we go. We have a valid trend line. We have here we go. We have a divergence. I personally use this one. I call it MACD MT4, but the one available on TradingView as this one. Here we go, and that's what I mentioned in the podcast, that I always wait for the blue line to cross the zero line to confirm that the divergence has ended. So as we can see, we didn't have a divergence here. Higher lows, so we don't have the divergence. The price and MACD are in sync. Then here we don't have a divergence. Higher low, right? Here we go. Here we have a divergence. Lower low, and higher low, right? Here we go. So here we have divergence. So starting from here, I knew that the reversal might be coming, right? So that's our second confluence. The first one was a resistance broken upward from daily. Now it became as a potential support. The second one was on H4, if you remember, the overall channel upward. So this one is a trend following bullish setup. The third one was a divergence, right, which gives us an early alert that, come on, start to look for a buy setup now. The fourth confluence is our trigger, okay, which is our trend line. And here we go. And even if we have 4 confluences, which is considered as strong setup, we will not buy. We wait for the trigger, which is late for some traders. I enter here after a momentum candle close, and as mentioned before, the stop loss is below the previous swing low. So here we go, entry, stop loss, and the 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, right? And on the MT4, on the default MACD on MT4, as you can see, this one is a more simplified, because I was used to use MT4 before. So I used to this type of MACD. That's why I made a script. And I call it MACD MT4, but this one is available on TradingView, and here we go. So we didn't have a divergence, no divergence, and here we go. And the divergence is confirmed when this one is broken upward. So here we go. Here's where the divergence is confirmed, which would be around here, right? But we don't trade, we don't enter immediately. We want extra confirmation, a break above the previous swing high. So basically that's it. 3 confluences trade. Look for key rejection areas from higher time frames. Here we go. And enter when the buyers prove to us that they are taking over.
Awesome. Great. That's probably one of the best trade walkthroughs I've had on this channel. Awesome stuff. Really, really good. Guys, if you didn't learn something there, You must have had your eyes closed or you've been asleep. You fell asleep watching this. Now, look, Richard, what's the best way for the guys to get hold of you?
Yes, first of all, you can reach me on my website at richtl.com, or you can reach me on TradingView at the Signalist, or if you would like to talk to me personally, I'm always happy to help. On Instagram, you can chat at Rich the Signalist, and
Brilliant,
I would
guys.
be my pleasure to help.
Look, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. We did record, as we mentioned, Richard mentioned there, a podcast which is full of golden nuggets where we talk about his full story. So if you do want to check that out, there's a link underneath this video. Click it after watching this, or it might even pop up as one of the suggested videos. But do remember, please hit subscribe, hit like, and hit notifications and the little bit notifications bell. Click all if you want to see videos like this in the future. And look, I'm going to ask Richard now if he wants to come on and do my my forex simulator replay challenge.
Sure. So it would be a pleasure and honor, really.
Brilliant. Okay, well, look, we're going to get him on there. Don't know what happened. My screen just went blank there for a second. So look, guys, that's what you need to do, and we'll see you in the next one.